Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So just some updates. Let's see, so I have the computer now here on my workbench, and everything's good to go. So I'm happy with that. Some old, very old computers here I'm going to either be just tossing on e-waste, trying to put them on marketplace for like 20 bucks, and too many people are asking stupid questions, so I'm just like, I'm probably just gonna e-waste that stuff right there. It's not worth my time or effort. um, but yeah, so here is everything set up. you know Everything will be automated. That's cool about these creative speakers. They will actually come on when the computer comes on. They have their own little RGB thing, which is kind of cool, you know. So there's a hesitation with this, how the memory cycles on this motherboard. It takes a lot longer than I want to. I'll probably have to check the BIOS, make sure that the hard drive is in the right position. But and then sometimes a Windows update will prolong a boot up, because that thing, well, it's actually got my old hard drive, so I'm going to accept that. If there was a brand new hard drive in there, that thing would just be screaming to the top within 4 or 5 seconds. But because I've had that hard drive a long time, it's definitely not the top of its game for sure, not anymore. So yeah, I actually had the Firefly Les Paul up here. I was playing it, and I was playing it quite a bit, and then I discovered that the toggle switch was kind of funky. So I got my solder gun out, and sure enough, two of the capacitors in there, yeah, they were not even soldered to the lug very well. So, and I hadn't really looked in there, but I thought I'd take a look in that electronics cavity, and sure enough, yeah, two of the capacitors, sort of like their orange drop kind of thing, were not even very solidly soldered to the lug. So I resoldered both of them. So yeah, so let's go over to the studio. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, I've been playing that thing. It's been really just really nice, man. I think this one Firefly is really completely underrated. And if you missed out on it, man, you missed out on a wonderful guitar, because they did an excellent job on these pickups. Really, just, I added the silver knobs and the pearloid purple pickguard, and it really does pop. But this thing is just very throaty. It's very Gibson-y. It's a nice guitar to play, man. Like, I could really get into this. So you see, and that's the problem when you have a collection of guitars. You gotta pull them out, and I have like zero really break-in time with this thing, and you got to get re-familiar with the instrument, because they don't all play the same. So your fingers got to get used to where the sweet spot is. You got to figure out where those are at, and but this is nice. I mean, with the locking tuners, this is the only Les Paul that I have been able to really sink my fingers into and enjoy it. Just such a solid instrument. The only negatives were, like I've said, you have to do a setup on these. Not like the Tees guitar where it's pretty much plug and play. These guitars, well, they have different components and qualities of wood, and different pickups. These require quite a bit more attention, definitely, but quite an interesting instrument. Yeah, I haven't even really played that much, and well, probably, but this one anyway is we're gonna play a little bit of that. I just want to go over it with you guys if you happen to miss it. I made a little clip from this gentleman here who was doing a review on a Tees guitar, and he was doing a little thing with his looper, and I figured, hey man, let me jam to that. That's kind of cool, just to pass the time. Sometimes you can make little clips of different types of music on YouTube that you may find that kind of get your juices flowing. And I always like to make a little clip, and I'll save it. I'll email it to myself, and then I can always come back to the little clip and just, it just loops, but it allows you to just kind of sit there and improvise and practice your licks or whatever you want to do. And this guy here, Guitar Adventures with Ray Landis, well, he bought this Tease guitars, and I don't know, he just his experience wasn't all that great, and then he was talking about all this other stuff he wanted to do to it, and my thoughts on that, I saw only about, like, I don't know, 3 minutes of the supposed upgrade or mods, and I totally don't even like what he did to it, but that's just me. As long as he's happy with it, that's awesome. But to each their own. For something like this, it doesn't sound like he paid for a setup, so that's probably one thing he probably should have done. A lot of guys don't even want to fork out the extra $50, but those guys down there at Tees, they do a really good job, like way better than you'll have anybody at Guitar Center do. And so sometimes it's a hit and miss, but for even something like that, you drop in Seymour Duncan hot rails or DiMaggio hot rails or whatever. That's all you need to do as far as like a mod. But what he did to it, I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, you should have just left it alone, man. What a crazy thing. But yeah, so let me get the guitar in my hand. I'm just going to be playing again with my Yamaha THR-10X and my Behringer Ultra Metal and my Flashback. I love that delay. It's one of the best delays for me, in my opinion, of the way that it kind of fades out. So many delays just are either over the top or they don't resonate very well. They're not very like the delays you're going to hear on a Fractal unit or a Line 6 unit, but this one does an excellent job of that, and it has multiple delay types built into it, and you can also connect it to the computer. All of these TC Electronics, their newer ones, you can actually connect to the computer, to their website, and download I don't know, themes or whatever. It's some crazy stuff, man. I've never even gone that far. I'm basically going off of a sound, better than analog, better than an over-the-top digital delay. The delays coming out of here are nice. They're more professional, in my opinion. So let me get set up, guys. Hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna go full throttle on this, man. a lot of, I don't know how to say it. Just it plays nice. Got excellent crunch, definition, growl, and this is on the bridge pickup. Yeah, I mean, and in the middle position, it has a lot of that really throaty, Gibson-y tone. Let's try to get it a little lower. I have the volumes somewhere in the middle. nice. It just got a, man, sounds awesome. In the neck. Drop that volume down right about there. It's not so muddy that it doesn't lose any definition. And this is in the bridge pickup. I think the real sweet spot is where the volume is probably halfway, you know, and then you can turn it all the way up. I almost started playing air guitar, but yeah. So man, this guitar is definitely very surprising. Neck. And that's what I mean when they did a good design. It's the neck and the middle are still very well defined, where on the neck things jump out a little more and there's a lot more clarity on the bottom end. In the middle. So if you ever see these on Guitar Gardens, man, I would highly, I mean, you would fall in love with this guitar. I'm just saying that. I'm not trying to just promote the Firefly brand. I'm talking about the overall sound playability of this guitar is like one of not the best plain feeling guitars in a Les Paul style. And the only second one that ever came close to that was the Alex Lifeson Les Paul, which ended up going back to Guitar Center because, you know, when I first played that guitar, I played it without the tremolo arm on the Floyd Rose, and that was my bad. That was really my bad because I was really digging the guitar, and unfortunately, that Floyd Rose, where, you know, that trem arm where it was positioned totally took the gameplay away from volume control, which a lot of guitar players, man, including myself, you know, we got to have access to that volume control, and even sometimes tone control with no hindrance. You can't be doing anything stupid in between. So where they placed that trem arm totally took your hand out of the game and having that mobility. So you're never going to be right there. You're going to be doing something stupid. And so that that guitar had to go away. Bye. You know. But what did I find instead? I'll show you. Hold on, guys. I'll show you what I got. So what I found at Guitar Center, by the way, in Orange, I think it's called the Block. I picked up this bad boy. This is a Charvel alder body, Seymour Duncan, JB in the bridge, and some of their SL, whatever they're called, single coils, with a Floyd Rose 1000, very nicely in that cavity, just nicely tucked in there. Really, really nice. And maple neck. This neck, by the way, as raw as it is, feels still very smooth. Rounded, has rounded corners on the top edge. Nice jumbo frets. And it played great. And again, where's the volume knob? It's like right here. So when you want to get on that trem arm, there's no hindrance to the volume, you know. You got to have it right there. And look where the Floyd Rose is positioned, in the back. Like, get the F out of the way. And, you know, because a lot of guitar players are right here. We got to have that. And so I don't know what the thought was with the Floyd Rose on the Alex Lifeson model, where it's just totally blocked. And I was like, that's not a little thing. That's a major flaw design, in my opinion. But it was crazy to see a lot of other guitar players after, you know, I bought the guitar, mention that it was a little bit of a, you know, of a hindrance. No, it's a major hindrance. But this one is really, really nice. It's got that crazy sparkle. This thing pops in the sun, man. It's crazy in the sun. It's really nice, and it sounds great. It plays great. Yeah. That's the middle position. I put new strings on there already. 62. Absolutely, the tuning is really, really good. This Floyd Rose 1000 is really good, pretty, very, very decent. I think it was way better than the one on the Epiphone. So this one just has a good back to zero response on it. Really, really nice. I mean, it comes back to zero. It's not all wanky. So one of the better Charvels for sure I picked up, and it's always a hit and miss. Honestly, it doesn't matter how many of these they made. You may pick one up and it just plays like garbage, and it wouldn't even feel the same. So I did some minor adjustments, put some new strings on there, and it plays great. So I got no qualms, and I'll be much happier with this Super Strat than I would with the Alex Lifeson Epiphone. And that was a beautiful guitar, man, but I wish they would have really thought out where they had placed that Floyd Rose. Something different, because that thing was such a major hindrance. Like, I just was like not going to get into it, so it didn't make any sense to keep something. You want to have something, anything in my collection now, it's definitely, I can pick it up and I can grab it and enjoy it. That's what I want to have. I don't want to have any one guitar in my collection that I'm just like, ugh, and I just don't want that. And so anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And what do you think of this bad boy? Have you ever had one? Have you played one? This is interesting. I'm very surprised with the rawness of the wood, but yet it still feels, it doesn't feel parched. It doesn't feel where it's grabbing my hand. There was one guitar I got from Guitar Center not too long ago that some knucklehead kind of really got behind the neck and sanded it, and it didn't even feel like this, and it was very much like a raw wood feeling backside of the neck. But this, I don't know, maybe there's a coating on here, because my hand doesn't, it's not tacky at all, and it feels really nice and natural. Yeah, the Floyd Rose on this is really, really nice. It's got just a good response, really good response. Probably one of the best response Floyd Rose 1000s I've had. And again, I have Floyd Rose 1000s on a lot of different guitars. So it's just a matter of, how things react. You just never know. That's all I'm going to say, is you just never really know until you pick up the guitar and spend time with it. Sometimes it's not enough time, even at the guitar store, while you're playing it, until you actually get it home and spend more time with it, and then you're going to really find out how you feel about it. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of us. It happened to me more times than you know. But hey, thanks for hanging out and thanks for joining me today. And so we'll be shifting gears again. I have purchased a different motorcycle. I did sell the Kawasaki Concourse, and I thought that was going to kind of be the end of my little joyride, but then I did find something else instead to fill the gap, as if I needed to. All right, thanks for hanging out, and welcome home to the new Charvel alder body. Yeah, really nice guitar. Yeah, it's just I'm digging it. It's nice. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm glad to add it to my collection of guitars for sure. All right, guys. So we are 34 minutes. Thanks for hanging out. If you stayed with me this long, thank you guys for subscribing to this channel, for tolerating my nonsense, my point of view, my thoughts. I appreciate your time and your comments if you happen to leave any. But you know what this channel is about. It's not an official guitar review stuff. I'm just dropping my opinion and sharing with you guys out there and trying to get feedback and have these little conversations of as musicians, you know. All right, take care. Have a blessed week.